Think about a huge wave that cannot be stopped coming up to the shore and putting thousands of lives in danger. This was the sad truth for Japan in 2011, after a terrible earthquake and tsunami caused a lot of damage. On the other hand, this terrible event led to an amazing engineering achievement, a 400-kilometer tsunami shield, a concrete wall that stands along Japan's coast. And today, we're going to go into this amazing story of resilience and creativity to look at how Japan is protecting itself from nature's brutality. Before we go into more detail about how Japan responded to the disaster in 2011, it's important to know that the country's dedication to coastal defense is not a new thing. Japan has a long and complex history with seawalls, a proof to its centuries-old battle against the mighty forces of the ocean. This historical context is crucial in appreciating the scale and significance of the post-2011 tsunami defenses. Japan's geographical location makes it particularly vulnerable to tsunamis, a reality that has shaped much of its coastal management strategies over the years. The country's history is dotted with accounts of devastating tsunamis, each leaving behind a trail of destruction and a wealth of lessons. In response, Japanese communities, especially those in tsunami-prone areas, have long relied on seawalls as a primary defense mechanism against these destructive waves. One notable example is the town of Taro, located in the Iwate Prefecture. Taro's history with tsunamis dates back to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, with significant events in 1896 and 1933. Following these disasters, the town constructed massive seawalls, some of the most formidable in the world at the time, standing as a barrier against the relentless sea. These walls, though effective to a certain extent, were not strong enough, as the 2011 tsunami tragically demonstrated. The waves that day, reaching heights of up to 40 feet, overpowered Taro's barriers, showing the need for even more robust protective measures. The 2011 earthquake and tsunami that struck Japan's east coast were devastating in terms of human loss. The disaster had claimed the lives of approximately 20,000 people. There were so many people who died in that tragedy that it's impossible to overstate how bad it actually was. Families and communities were left in grief and pain. The destruction of homes, infrastructure, and livelihoods compounded the tragedy, making it one of the most catastrophic events in Japan's history. The high number of casualties highlighted the urgent need for more effective tsunami defenses in order to protect coastal areas while saving lives in the event of a future disaster. The 2011 tsunami would be a wake-up call that led to a re-evaluation of Japan's existing seawall infrastructure. Many of the pre-existing walls, though built with the best knowledge and technology of their time, were simply not equipped to handle the unprecedented scale of the 2011 waves. In some areas, the walls were designed to withstand waves of up to 8 meters, but the tsunami had brought waves that were nearly double that height. This big difference showed where the current defenses fell short and demanded a more thorough and strong approach. In the aftermath, Japan's approach to seawall construction evolved significantly. The new walls were designed not only to be taller and stronger, but also to integrate advanced engineering and a deeper understanding of tsunami dynamics. This evolution in coastal defense strategy reflects Japan's ability to learn from the past and its commitment to protecting its citizens from future catastrophes. And so, Japan's long history with seawalls is a story of strength, creativity, and adaptability. This is a story of a country that's always had to deal with nature's fury and has come back stronger each and every time. And when we look at the huge concrete structures that now line Japan's coast, we see more than just walls. We see a history of hard work and a vision for the future that wants to protect people from the unpredictable power of the sea. Looking back at how Japan has protected itself from tsunamis in the past, we can see a story that fits in well with the creation of the new Tsunami Shield. This modern wonder, which came about after the terrible events of 2011, is a big change in Japan's plan to protect its people and its shores. The genesis of the new Tsunami Shield had been rooted in the urgent need to fortify Japan's coastline against future tsunamis. The project, ambitious in both scale and scope, involved constructing nearly 400 kilometers of towering concrete walls along the most vulnerable parts of the coastline. These walls, some reaching up to 15 meters in height, were designed to absorb the destructive force of massive waves, providing a crucial buffer to reduce the impact of tsunamis and afford precious time for evacuation. Building these walls would be an engineering challenge of unprecedented proportion. It required not only advanced construction techniques and materials, but also a careful consideration of the environmental and social impacts. The engineers tasked with the project had to ensure that the walls were resilient against the relentless force of the sea, including erosion and the impact of debris-laden waves. In order to protect human lives while causing the least amount of disturbance to coastal communities and marine ecosystems, this project required careful balance. One important part of designing the Tsunami Shield would be making sure it used the latest technology. There were sensors and monitoring systems built into the walls that gave real-time information on the shaking and wave patterns. By combining technologies, faster and more accurate tsunami warnings were made possible, which made the defense system work better overall. Also, gates strategically placed within the walls could be closed in response to tsunami warnings. This would strengthen the barriers at critical times while still allowing people to get to the water normally during the safe times. While the Tsunami Shield has undoubtedly enhanced Japan's resilience against tsunami disasters, it's also sparked a significant debate, both within the country and internationally. This debate centers on various aspects of the project, including its effectiveness, environmental impact, and the broader implications of such large-scale engineering endeavors. Effectiveness. Some experts would argue that while the Tsunami Shield provides valuable evacuation time and reduces the immediate impact of tsunamis, it is not a foolproof solution. They point out that the shield's effectiveness may diminish against extremely powerful tsunamis, similar to the 2011 disaster. Critics argue that relying solely on physical barriers may create a false sense of security and divert attention and resources away from other crucial disaster preparedness measures. Environmental impact. The construction of the Tsunami Shield involved significant alterations to Japan's coastline and marine environment. Critics raise concerns about the impact on coastal ecosystems, including the disruption of natural habitats and the potential consequences for marine life. While efforts were made to minimize environmental damage, some argue that such large-scale projects should undergo even more stringent environmental assessments. Long-term viability. The ongoing maintenance and upkeep of the Tsunami Shield presents challenges. Concrete structures are subject to wear and deterioration over time, requiring regular inspections and repairs. There are debates about whether Japan's long-term commitment to maintaining these structures is feasible, and whether future generations will prioritize these efforts. Alternative approaches. Some experts advocate for a more holistic approach to disaster preparedness, emphasizing not only physical defenses, but also community education, early warning systems, and efficient evacuation plans. They say that a strategy with many parts is better at adapting to new situations and might work better in the long run. International perspective. Japan's investment in the Tsunami Shield has attracted world attention. Some nations with similar coastal vulnerabilities view it as a model to emulate, while others question the feasibility of implementing such projects in their own regions. The global discussion extends to broader themes of climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction, with implications for coastal communities worldwide. In conclusion, the argument over Japan's Tsunami Shield shows how hard it is to find a balance between the need to protect people from disasters and worries about the environment, the shield's long-term viability, and other options. As environmental problems become worse, this event highlights the need for ongoing discussion about how to make communities more resilient to disasters. It can also be used as an example by countries wanting to protect their coastlines from nature's destructive forces. The 400-kilometer Tsunami Shield is more than just a bunch of walls. It's a sign of how strong and tech-savvy Japan is when it comes to dealing with natural disasters. To fully appreciate this amazing engineering achievement, we must also think about the balance between safety and environmental impact. But what are your thoughts on this massive undertaking? Share your views in the comments below. and join the conversation on how nations can best protect themselves against the unpredictable forces of nature. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.